Hey guys, we've got another of the 12 race trials on the JP server. This time it's Gloom Wing against the Insect. And just to let you know, this trial is just as stupid as Deathwing is. Or not Deathwing, Death Machine. The Machine trial. If you remember, we auto-battled our way to victory across like 200 turns against Death Machine. We're doing the same thing against Gloom Wing, so let's give it a go and let's set up our auto battle and walk away. So once again, this boss has billions of defense and spirit, and the boss is really no threat to your team at all. It's just an enormous hit point sponge. So we're going to cover and mitigate with Beatrix. We're going to normal attack with Runda. We're just going to break with Gilgamesh. We're going to use Sayaka to heal, status immune, and a little bit of MP fill. And then Barbarisha and Renoa are in their shift forms to get their auto buffing. So we're just going to guard for the moment. Their shift form is just set up for auto buffing. So we need to wait until turn 5 for the shift forms to wear off on Barbarisha and Renoa. And then we're going to set up auto battle, and then we're going to just like AFK for a bit. So I'll explain what the boss does once I get the auto battle set up. It's going to take a few minutes. And once I get it going, I'll start explaining the boss and why the boss is so dumb, just like Death Machine was dumb. Anyway, so let's just finish. So this is turn 4, and I think this is turn 5. Yeah, so now we're going to be back in the base form with Barbarisha and Renoa, so we can get our auto cast set up. So let's quad tornado. That's all we're going to be doing for the whole fight. We're going to quad tornado plus quad tornado plus 3. So we'll do that, and we'll just reload these. Okay, so Runda is basically permanently berserked at this point, and I'll explain in a moment. So let me go ahead and next turn I'll get the auto battle set up. I'll do it quickly. Okay, so we're going to wait for Run to fill MP. Then we do this, and we chain, and that should have been good. Make sure I chained it properly. I did, no breaking. Okay, let's turn on repeat, and there it is. We now just sit here for an hour and a half, 2 hours, or, you know, I'm going to be going AFK, but yeah. So anyway, so also, auto battle usually breaks the chain with Tornado because it's dumb. But let's see what happens. So I did perfect chain it, last time. Let's see if it breaks. Yeah, I don't know why Tornado keeps breaking with auto repeat. It's so stupid. I chained it properly, and now it's just breaking, even though I chained it properly when I set up the repeat. So here we go. So let me explain what the boss is doing. First of all, I'll say the boss once again has 500% light resist. And this really pisses me off because they sold like Knights of Grandshelt and the Second Emperor Fina, 2 premium units, both completely focused on light element, and everything is now immune to light in the game ever since. The both trials since then have been immune to light. The EX battles have been resistant to light. The Dark Visions that followed that banner has been immune to light. Everything in the game has been immune to light element ever since this stupid trial came out, or since that banner came out, and it's so dumb. Anyway, the boss also has extreme resistance, like 185 to wind, water, and lightning. He's got 50 resist to fire and dark, and then he's weak to ice and wind. So you kind of have to use ice and wind element on this boss. Now the boss also has 670,000 defense and spirit. So exceptionally bulky on this boss. He also has 22 billion HP. Let me open up the boss real quick. Yeah, 22 billion HP. We're doing 60 million a turn with our broken auto repeat chains. And I could manually chain it every turn, but that wouldn't work with repeat. Anyways, we have 22 billion HP divided by 60 million per turn. Okay, so we're going to be approximately 366 turns to clear it, not counting the turns where I did set up. So about 370 to 400 turns to clear this fight. Yeah, so super stupid. The mission is 15 turns or less, so, you know, good luck with that. Maybe it's possible. I have no idea. But as you can see, we are dealing incredibly low damage, but it is slowly working. The boss does drain health too, so it's kind of like hurting us a little bit on the damage dealt. But, yeah, so very, very slow, very tedious, but it works. And again, it's auto-repeat, so there we go. We're at 2% on turn 14, or 3% on turn 14. Outstanding. And of course, we had 5 turns of setup because of the shift mode. Anyway, so I'll explain what's going on. So the boss does single target berserk on your provoker, which we're using Rundy because the little robot, because his normal attack refills MP. The boss also, while I can talk about this with all this noise. Okay, yeah, Runda's auto attack fills MP, so when he's berserked, it fills MP for the party. As you notice, the boss mana drains your party every single turn. And we're using, you know, mana. So we've got mana reduction on Barbarisha, and well, the whole party actually. So everything the party does is reduced to 100 or less per turn, and then the mana drain is canceled out by our berserked Runda, who is filling up enough per turn to self-sustain always. The boss does status effects, which we are immuning with Sayaka's status effect cure. The boss also does drain, which brings you to only brings you down to 2,000 HP, and we're healing that back up with Sayaka as well. The boss does breaks. We're using auto break immunity with Vermilion Flag on our DPS. The boss does accuracy down that cannot be dispelled, so you basically have to use mages because your physical DPS will always miss. The magical damage is being covered by Beatrix. The boss does 300% fire imperil and a huge fire nuke. So our Beatrix is wearing 400% unbuffed fire resistance. Beatrix is just covering and mitigating every single turn. And then the non-elemental magic is really, really weak. As you can see, that's being healed up by Sayaka. Gilgamesh is just breaking every single turn. There's probably a better option than Gilgamesh, but I think I think no one in the game has on-demand without cooldown higher than 85 breaks. So Gilgamesh was like, whatever, we just needed someone to break every turn. If there was someone that could like break, you know, 86, 87 or better without using their LB, that'd be great. But for an auto repeat, it's got to be something available every single turn. So Gilgamesh is just our breaker. And that's it. So like I said, you kind of have to use either ice or wind mages. There's really no good ice mages other than Medina. And Medina is obviously a premium unit on JP. Well, not a premium unit. It's a paid only unit, cash only, and I don't have Medina on JP. And then wind mages, the only good ones are like Renoa and Barbarisha. Now, technically, I could be actually actively playing the turn and, like, you know, doing their mod boost and their cooldowns and all that and properly chaining so that we don't have chain breaks. And the turn count on this would be somewhere around like 120 turns instead of like 400. But, you know, after I finish explaining, I'm going to go AFK and let this just run while I watch TV or something. So I needed a DPS that could just literally turn on repeat and walk away. And Quadcast Tornado is one of the only real options. Unfortunately, Tornado breaks with auto repeat. I don't know why. Even though you saw when I did the setup, I perfect chained it, and it did perfect chain. But auto repeat does not like Tornado, and it just breaks. I don't know why. Tornado does have, or Tornado +3 does have a 135 wind imperil, which is where that's coming from. Also with Barbarisha's STMR and then +3 Tornado, the total modifier is I think 230 per cast. We're quad casting it. They have permanent quad cast, so that's 880x or 910, something like that. Modifier per turn. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. You know, there's probably better ways to set up an auto repeat team, but I don't know. This works. I'm just going to go AFK for a bit, and the boss's AI does change a little bit below 50%. He starts doing, you know, the same skills, just in different orders. It's pretty much irrelevant because this team is built for literal immunity permanently. We're never going to die. We're never going to take any kind of critical damage. Oh yeah, the boss does death as well on the provoker, but we're obviously wearing death immunity, so forget that. Yeah, the boss does status effects. We're immune from Sayaka, and that's it. ultimate stupidity in trial design. Once again, the boss is no threat whatsoever. We are literally turned on auto repeat and walk away. The only challenge on this boss is 670,000 defense and spirit. Not to mention accuracy down that you can't cure, so you can't use physical, and immunity to every element except for wind and ice. Well, fire or dark technically could be used. He's heavily resistant, but you could imperil that away. It would just be a huge damage penalty. It's only plus 50 to fire and dark. All the rest are plus 185 or 500. So anyway, I'll see you guys in a bit when the boss is lower in health. I'm just going to leave auto repeat on, and I'm going to go do other stuff while the game plays itself, because this is the best kind of trial design. This is so stupid. This is the stupidest. All right, see you in a few. Hey guys, just checking back in. Yep, the team is still just chugging along on auto repeat. Nothing really more to say. I'm just, showing again because the fight does technically change the attack pattern below 50%, but the team is built to handle the same thing, so yeah, kind of irrelevant. No change needed. Even though the boss does some attacks more often, some attacks less often under 50, it still can't kill your team. Your team is still immune. Nothing really changes, so just let it go. Let it go, auto attack all the way to 0%. So yeah, once it gets to 0%, I will, record again. I'll show you the damage breakdown, although it's, not really much to see there. I'll show you the gear, and I'll explain a little bit in more detail for each unit how to set them up to just auto-battle your way to victory. So, and this is actually really a budget run, honestly, because we're using... Yeah, Gilgamesh is completely free. Beatrix was completely free. Barbarisha was completely free. All three of those were MOG event rewards. Runda, the robot, is completely free from the story. And then Siaka can be UOC'd, so she wasn't given away, but you can UOC Siaka. So yeah, this is completely budget run as well. Anyway, I'm going to let it continue to auto-battle, and I will see you when the hit point reaches 0. See you then. Alright guys, we're approaching the end. The boss is at 1%, so another 2 to 3 turns, and we will be done with this dumb trial with auto battle. And I'll show the gear and explain it and all, so I guess not yet, maybe 1 or 2 more turns. So 356 turns, so about 360 or less using this setup. Now, of course, you could have done, manual play and getting dramatically more DPS by proper chaining, doing, cooldown setups. But it's still going to be like a 100-turn clear, so, me being lazy was less effort. Didn't quite get it this turn, probably next turn, so probably a 358-turn clear. Yeah, I was able to just, turn it on and go walk back and forth from the, the game and not really worry about it. So very low effort clear. Just turn on your auto battle and let it do its thing. So I guess this is probably going to be the, yep, there it is. And we win 358 turns with auto battle. Now, there's probably way better options for doing this. I'm sure there's better units to do it, better all kind of stuff, but this worked. It was super budget, super easy, very trivial. Anyway, yeah, the game's lagging a little bit because after running auto battle for multiple hours, it starts to lag. Okay, well, there was our awesome trial clear, and yep, as expected, pretty similar DPS. Renoa being an actual gacha unit is, stronger than a 4-star Neovision's Awakening Barbarisha, but Barbarisha did pretty good too. Anyway, let's show. Yeah, we failed 2 of the missions. I used 6 units. I could have done a 5-man, but it would have been harder to build a team. And then 15 turns, good joke. We didn't use items though, So there was the hard mode clear. So let's go ahead and show the gear and so. And actually, I've only got 3 raid orbs. It's only been like what, 2.5 hours or so. Not too bad. All right, so here's the team we're using. Okay, so Beatrix needs 400% fire resist. We started in the base form with auto magic mitigation, or auto shell with miracle shoes. And then shift form has 400 or better fire resist. It is important because some turns the boss does imperil on the same turn as the fire nuke, so you need 400 or better fire resist. Other than that, just some status immunity. And although we buff status, if you're not using a buffer, you need it. If you are using a buffer, you don't need it. 5,500 spirit just to cover the magical stuff. So there's our setup. Yep. The magical damage, the non-elemental, is very, very low. So all you really need is like 400 fire. The fire damage is very high. So you do need 400 fire resist. Rund is our provoker. Passive provoke, death immunity. That's all that really matters. He's got full passive provoke, death immunity, and his normal attack, as I mentioned, does mana restore for the party by 100. Now you can give him double attack or even quad attack, and it'll restore up to 400 mana per turn. The problem is his auto attack animation is very, very slow, and if he's quad attacking, it takes like 20 seconds to do all 4 attacks. It really, really slows down your clear. So I wanted to keep him to a single attack per turn with his berserk, so I only used single attack, so we only regenerated 100 MP per turn. Yep, there we go. Gilgamesh in the shift form is just using some mana reduction, and it's not even really that important. Honestly, all he did literally every single turn was his 85% all break. He could be replaced with anyone to do breaks. Sayaka did status immunity, healing, and barrier. Now the barrier is important because the boss's damage, the only damage the boss deals to your team is the fixed life drain. Life drain caps at your maximum HP, no matter how much damage it deals. It caps at your max HP, not including barriers. So because Sayaka does a 2,000 point barrier every single turn, it means the boss can never kill anyone because the most you can take is your max HP. And that's the reason most of the party members ended every turn with 2,000 HP remaining, because that was the barrier from Sayaka. So yeah, someone to top off the party and give a small barrier per turn is all you really need. If you're watching this video for the global server where we don't have Sayaka, you can use Aiden, the 7-star Aiden, Dr. Aiden. He does heal, status immunity, and barrier every single turn, and that'll be the same concept. But for JP, Sayaka is a really good choice. So yeah. And then Barbarisha. In the shift form, we've got auto wind amp from Poppy's STMR, auto break immunity from Vermilion Flag, this is not really that important, auto faith for a magic buff from just auto faith. And yeah, and then in the base form where we stayed the majority of the fight, 5,900 magic, 225 magical bug killer, mana reduction, so that Hurricane cost 100 mana or less. Naturally, Hurricane cost 48 MP per cast. That'd be 192 per turn, which is more than we're getting back from Rund. Hold on. Which is more than we're getting back per turn from Rund. So if you could do the double attack where he restores 200 MP, but again, like I mentioned, it really slows down your it really slows down your clear time if he's doing multiple attacks. So I wanted to go with only a single attack from Rund, which is only 100 MP. So we used mana reduction to reduce Hurricane, our Tornado, to 100 or less quad casted. Anyway, chain cap up, killers, and there's her card. So that was the build. And yeah, we just turned on auto repeat and, you know, spent 3 hours. That's pretty much it. Very exciting trial. You know, someday in the distant future, I'll have units strong enough to do the 15-turn clear, and then I'll go back and do that, and then I'll do a 5-man clear at that point as well. So, there it is. See you next time.